Hey, what's up? It's Sean, and I just wanted to hop on here real quick to share a piece of resource in anticipation of my next event. Depending on when you're watching this, it's going to be 5th July 2024. It's a Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I will be going live for a 2-hour paid workshop. It's called Convo Closer, and the main thing, the main mechanism, the main tool that I'm going to help you build, that I'm going to teach and share with you, is what I call Convo. And really that's just a fancy way of saying conversations. And whether you are a setter, a closer, or business owner, as long as your work involves you bringing in more qualified sales appointments, sales meetings, sales calls, and closing the sale itself, then the art of convo closing is really going to benefit you and change the game entirely for you. And just to be clear, the mechanism I'm going to be teaching is conversations, right? Which means that any social media platform where your leads are, and any social media platform that you can use to create content, demonstrate your expertise, and bring awareness, bring interest, and then drive all the traffic inbound, you got to understand that conversations is what changes the game. If you do sales calls, a sales call can be, even if you do a triage call, right, it can be 15, 30, 60 minutes. How many of those can you do? Before the call, you need to prepare. After the call, you need to follow up, right? And so the max I've done is about 6 to 7 calls a day, and that's it, I'm done. And that's only so much impact you can make with your time. If you're closing for yourself, you probably don't even have that kind of time that you can use to take so many calls. But with conversations, you do realize that you can actually reach a lot more in terms of quantity and later on in quality. You can practically send 50, 100 messages throughout the day or have someone do it for you. And so the reach and the impact and your ability to spread your seeds, to plant them, and then to nurture them, and then to convert them is practically unlimited. You get good at it yourself first, and eventually you're going to hire a VA, a setter, and then a closer to help you continue to get the machine moving. But first, you got to understand the impact that you can make using conversation. And you might say, but Sean, I'm a setter, right? So are you asking me to sell on chat? Are you asking me to, like, what are you asking me to do as a setter, right? Or you might say, Sean, I'm a closer. Are you asking me to do setting work? Are you asking me to cold prospect people? Or you might say, I'm a business owner and I set and close for myself, so what you have might really be relevant for me. But think about this. At the end of the day, a sale is a sale, right? And if you have leads given to you, if you have leads that come inbound to you, that's great, right? But since when is that enough? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a business owner, you know that it's not enough. Especially if you are a closer, you know that you cannot depend. You cannot depend on your influencer to give you leads. You cannot depend on businesses to hand you hot, warm, super well-cooked, well-marinated leads for you to close. You need to have the ability to build your own independent pipeline of leads. Again, you're planting the seeds, you're nurturing them, and you're converting them all on your own, your independent pipeline. This is what I call a complete closer. And if you are a setter, the ability to text someone well, text them fast, nurture them, and same thing, plant and nurture your seeds and convert them all year round so that you don't just rely on one source, right? Especially if you're a setter, towards the end, you know what you're doing? You're selling. Do you know what you're selling? You can sell a low ticket item. You can sell an opt-in to a live event. But above all, the most important skill that you need to have as a setter is your ability to sell the value of a sales call, right? And it's not just pitching people, it's not just harassing people, it's selling them the value of a sales call. And if you are a seller, a closer, a copywriter, a funnel builder, you have a service that you want to sell. And before you land your first client, you got to understand that you are the product. You're selling your own setting and closings or whatever services that you have. So if you are selling yourself and your main skill is to sell to others, and say that, hey, I can set for you, I can close for you. Well, then guess what? The first series of appointments that you have to book successfully has got to be selling the value of a business owner willing to open up your first message, watch your video, read your email, and say, yes, I want to interview you. I want to get you on a call. I want to interview you. I'm really interested in getting you on my team to let you set and close for me. That is your first client. And guess what? All these scenarios that I've just laid out have in common. They all require you to text well. If you are here in the online space to do business, and I really shouldn't be saying that now because these days everything is online, right? So if you're here in this space to build something for yourself, you're either a seller, a closer, a business owner, you're selling your own services, you have to master the psychology of texting well. And no, I'm not referring to all the scripts you see out there. Hey bro, wanna jump on a call? Hey, what motivated you to add me as a friend? Right? These are things that today, if you do them, everyone is doing it. It's a setter on the other end talking to you. You are a setter on the other end. It's everyone trying to set each other. And to stand out in today's market, you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You really have to let the person see that it's me. It's me, a human present, not AI, not a bot, not a mechanical robotic setter with all the wrong energy and wrong scripts. It's me, a human being. I'm present. I'm here to serve you. I have a solution that you might be interested in, and let me help you get that clarity, right? So today's share, I want to talk about this concept, and you can learn this as a technique. You can try this on your own, but really what I teach always appears as a technique, but it's not. There's always an essence behind it. There's always a series of dots that you have to connect behind it. You've got to understand the whole web, the whole system, to really make the technique come alive. If you copy this, you turn it into a script and technique, then it's no different from all the other, whatever you see online these days. That they are just copying each other, and you need to have your own essence. So you need to understand the essence of what I'm teaching and then implement it in your own voice. In fact, I really want you to just go ahead and try this today and let me know how it goes. So what you're seeing here is the same thing, right? I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but any platform that you can use to create content, which is what? Everything, right? Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, your email list, like any place that you can create content. And this is so important because the content establishes you as an authority. The content drives traffic, funnels them into a call to action, right? And you might say, Sean, I can understand if what you're saying, you tell business owners to do that, I understand, but I'm a setter, I'm a closer. How do you expect me to create content, right? So here's the thing. Do you want more leads? That's my question to you. Do you want more sales, right? Do you want more sales calls? Do you want more people to know who you are, what you do, what you sell? Do you want them to see that you have expertise? And this applies even if you are a salesperson. You do realize that on a sales call, you need to demonstrate your expertise, right? And you do realize that that creates a lot of trust and a lot of assurance. And the sales call is not the only place you can demonstrate your expertise. If in a day you take 6 to 7 sales calls, then you only have that space to demonstrate your expertise. And isn't that a very manual way to have a talk and talk and talk? But if you use social media and you're fully transparent, right? You say, I'm not the business owner. I am a closer. And I've done this so many times where I was not the business owner. And I just said, to be transparent, I'm the closer. I sell these products. I'm a salesperson. I'm not the expert. I'm not the coach. But you know what? I want to share some insights. I want to share my experience. I want to share my experience with the product. I want to share some of the people I've helped with this product. I want to share what I do understand about this product. And when I'm not on calls, I'm just seeding this content all over my Facebook, my Instagram. You can still find them on my social media platform. It's in there somewhere from 2017, 18, 19, 20, when I did not have my own business. I was very proactively posting saying that this is a product I close for, this is an event I'm going to, right? If you need help with this, drop me a message. And what am I doing? I am setting up my own independent channels. And when I gather all this traffic, what is the one mechanism that allows me to book calls and sell? I've used this method to book sales calls, high quality sales calls, sometimes even higher quality than my influencers funnel. I've used it to close low ticket items. I've used it to get registration. I've used it to book sales calls. The mechanism, conversations. Sales calls, you can only do 6 to 7 a day, and then before that you have to prepare, after that you have to follow up, like the day is gone. But when I use conversation, I can easily hit 50 in an hour, 100 in 2 hours, right? I can do hundreds, I can hit hundreds of leads in an hour. And do you realize what that does for your calendar? And if you look at it from a 1 year perspective, do you realize what that does for your income and your commissions collected? You see where I'm going with this? So your ability to text well, and if you look at the way I text, it's not a lot, you know. You don't need a lot of time. A lot of these texts, when I book calls and I close deals, I'm actually seldom at my computer. I'm either outside exercising, I'm either downstairs running on the streets, I am either in the toilet. Okay, sorry to say that. But sometimes if I'm texting you, you know where I am. I'm either queuing for food, I'm either traveling, and I take out my phone and my inbox is always full. That's how the inbox works. The more you send, when it all comes back, you know, it just snowballs. And if you're a salesperson, you are a seller, a closer, a business owner, like you sell something in your work or business, your inbox on Instagram, your inbox on LinkedIn, your inbox on Facebook should never be quiet. It should never be empty. It should be filled with leads that are like this, that they have seen your content and they are inquiring and they already know that you're selling something. So there's no need to chat. There's no need to beat around the bush. There's no need to do any sales technique. All these examples that I will share, especially in the Convo Closer workshop, you'll see that when they come in, they outright ask for what I'm selling. This kind of thing, the more sheepish and awkward and hesitant you are about presenting yourself as a salesperson or a business owner that you have something to sell, the more difficult it is for you to navigate in the inbox. If you want an inbox full of leads who are buyer leads, just be transparent, right? And I'm not saying to just tell everyone you're a salesperson. The reality is, like, just like this piece of content, I'm giving my best content for free all the time. I'm present and showing up and being as authentic as I possibly can all the time, right? That's why it works. So don't copy this as a technique, but really understand the spirit that I'm trying to express here. Basically, what's happening here is an example for my martial arts coaching business. I create content every day, right? I see content every day. And if I was selling for someone else's martial arts or fitness coaching business, I would do the same thing, right? It's a formula that has worked all the time. It's always content, conversation, close. It works every single time, right? Every time you have gotten sales yourself, it has always been content, conversation, close in some way, shape, or form, right? So I create content and then I funnel all the traffic into a call to action, which is to WhatsApp me to claim either a free assessment, a free trial. Well, in this case, I call it a free introduction session, but really that's my sales call. You know what I'm saying? You can give it all kinds of names, right? A complimentary assessment, a breakthrough session, and I don't like to play with names because the names means nothing. If you say clarity call, they know sales call. If you say breakthrough session, they know sales call. If you say clarity breakthrough session, they know sales call, right? So I don't like to do that, but what I like to do is I like to give a very specific, tangible benefit. In this case, the call to action is 90 minutes. How do you resist that, right? And I know what I'm doing. I have my way of fulfilling all these requests, but I want to make it something irresistible. That way my conversion goes way up. Something that I can deliver with quality. That way everyone is satisfied, everyone converts. And I want to make it so specific and it's something that people want. This is the same thing as a seller selling the value of the call. So in this case, I'll say, hey, it's an introduction session, or it's an assessment, or something, anything that works for your business. And I just gather all the traffic and I put a call to action, and every time people just text me because this bait it's almost too good to be true, and you must deliver. If you don't deliver and then word spreads, like your whole funnel is not going to work, right? So you must deliver. So this person saw my content. He knows that I sell martial arts coaching, so there's no need to dance around anymore. He's straight away asking me, where do you teach? I said, here's my location, it's in Singapore. And then these are very standard questions. I've been doing this for so many years. They always ask the same thing, right? Because this is a niche. Timing, duration, right? So at this point, I want you to understand that I also want the prospect to know that I'm not trying to do like what motivated you to, you know, send me this mail. I don't want to do that. I want to show the person that I understand where you are, because when I ask about other people's class, I also don't want them to, you know, like set me or close me. Like, it's kind of like just tell me, right? So I do it. I just tell them, and here's what I want to teach, because the psychology is so important. I'm just answering directly, but there will get to a point where you have to be proactive. And this is the main thing I want to teach today. It's called the proactive prompt. Okay, because at this point when I have given all the information, sometimes my students will ask me, Sean, I did what you told me, and they wrote in with some inquiries, and I just gave them the details, and then they ghost. They disappear. Okay, that's because you have already satisfied their queries, right? You have not hooked them, you have not given them a reason to continue the conversation. So a lot of times, if they're really just inquiring, and you just give the information, they're gonna stop, right? But they stop doesn't mean you stop. Okay, they stop doesn't mean you stop. They stop doesn't mean you harass them. They stop doesn't mean you spam them. It doesn't mean you send them a GIF and say, bro, I'm just waiting for your response. Bro, just keeping this up. You're gonna annoy them. Okay, and someone does that to you, do you like it? Well, don't do it. Right? So I want to facilitate, first of all, the spirit of communication. And I want to the sales process is starting. I want to initiate the conversation, and if you copy this as a technique, it means nothing. If you go and ask someone how old are you, it's not going to work for you. This person responded because of my intention, right? And this is something difficult to teach, because intention, I cannot pinpoint it on my slide. You know, energy, I actually cannot pinpoint it on my slide. But there's this invisible thread that runs when two people are engaged and connected, and whatever that's going on in your inner world, that thread is going to carry all the information and intention and energy and pass it on to the prospect. So at this point, a lot of sellers and closers and business owners might just lose their shit. They were like, oh shit, the prospect is not replying. What did I do wrongly, right? Is my product not good enough? What should I say? What's the technique I should do, right? So a lot of people will just get lost inside their own head, right at the green spot that I just circled here. So if you experience that, first of all, you have to understand that that's all in your mind, okay? If you ask yourself this one simple question, which is, what can I do to help this person solve their problems? From this intention, the first sentence that comes to your mind, even if it doesn't seem logical, do not doubt it. Do not second guess yourself. Do not overthink it. Ask it. Okay? So you see, when you do it right, what this person does is he starts to open up, and then I didn't even try, I'm not even doing a technique. It's really my intention. And then this person just said, oh, I'm 23, and what really motivates me is the philosophy and flow. I'm considering try. Can you do a trial class? Can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, and so I just scheduled the meeting straight away. Right, at this point, a lot of people will just get lost. Like, what are your goals? What are your I want to optimize for the meeting, because when the person meets you, even if it's online, even if it's offline, that's where a lot of things can happen that is in your favor, that's also in the prospect's favor, right? So I wanted to optimize for sales meetings. So I went ahead to schedule the call, schedule the meeting, and I just gave him all the details, and everything is very straightforward. But the most important part here is this question that I fired, and it has worked every single time. Okay, so if you are at a point where you have conversations and you're getting stuck, you're like, what should I say and how do I, move? Because this was happened really quickly. If you look at the timestamp, the first message came in 12:51, back and forth. By at about 4 p.m. the call was booked, right? And you got to understand that in between I was doing a lot of other things. I was texting other people, I was getting on calls, I was creating content, I was going about my day. And so every time I just pick up my phone to check, hey, did this guy reply? Then I just send, right? So when you can do this all day round, or you can train a seller, or even your closers to do this all day round, you realize that from a machine standpoint, from a big picture standpoint, now all your lead flow becomes unobstructed. This is not something you can do with content alone. This is not something you can do with calls alone. It has to be done via conversations, because this is the only thing that allows you to be mobile, agile, and consistent all day, all week, all month, all year round. Here you can put in some resources, you can put in some information, right? And if what I shared in this video has benefited you and you want the full system, all my strategies, all my techniques that I've used to use conversations to book more high quality sales calls, to sell low ticket items, and sometimes even for my high ticket offers, I don't do sales calls, I just sell on chat. If you want the whole program, I'm going to put a link in the description for you to register and join the workshop. It is a paid workshop. It is $100 as of right now until the price goes up. Or if you have any questions, you can just reach out on social media and say, hey Sean, I've seen your video on the proactive prompt on the Convo closer, but I'm not sure if it's relevant for my context. Go ahead and ask me anything and I'll send you whatever you need. Do keep me updated. Some of you are already talking with me on social media, and let me know, does this approach help your business? Does this approach help you to navigate more freely and more authentically in your inbox, right? And if you have any question, drop me a message so that I can turn it into better and better content for you. Until next time, it's Sean Sena, and I will see you in the Convo Closer workshop.